Good morning, traders and investors. Here we are on this Friday, getting things started. Can the 4-day winning streak be 5? That's what we need to know. We got some major movers after hours. We will cover those. Also, buying the dip. Does that just work blindly? 8:35. We are going to talk to Jeff Goldman. He is the PMP crypto analyst, folks. Let's get things started on pre-market prep.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble. Joel, I'm jumping in here. Joel might be having technical issues here right off the hop. Brentster will bring you in here too. We're going to put Joel to the background here.
Good morning.
He's going to unplug his mic and plug it back in. He's got to get this $39 LG headset. This one's been like 5 years strong and just goes and goes. He gets a new fancy headset every 3 months and they just break down. The $100 one, the $200. $39 LG. Life is good. There you go.
Life
Brentster,
is good.
What's going on? Joel's trying to figure out his life over there. We'll hopefully get him back here with his headset hiccup. I'll do the rundown. I can do the rundown a little bit. You got to put the charts up for me, though. Throw those charts up. We'll take a look at this here. Actually, I don't know. Maybe you can't work the charts. We have to have our own charts here.
Yeah, I think we have to have our own charts here.
Uh-oh. Well, he's got the futures up there. Futures are kind of flat. You know what? Futures kind of flat. We've got gold up a little bit. We got oil up a lot. Stuff moving. I give you the quick rundown here. That's all that matters. Bitcoin, who knows? We'll talk to our crypto analyst, Jeff Goldman, 8:35. He'll tell us all about Bitcoin. What I know is you've got the blind squirrels picking up nuts all over the place here. What does that mean? It means blindly buying the dip is just working across the board, and it worked last night. And good timing of the disclaimer here, but it seems like you can know nothing except the one core strategy since the beginning of the stock market that has worked eternally: buy the dip. And last night we had multiple stocks buying the dip. You want me to go try to grab my charts here, or you want to throw yours up, Brentster?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
We've lost Joel entirely here now. He's trying to restart his computer.
Yeah.
It was a good intro. Yeah. It was a good intro.
I know, especially considering he couldn't hear. Here he comes. He's back in the background.
He's trying to bring it up. He's really staring intently at his screen.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's trying to look at there, but we heard him fine. It was good. But then he said, I can't hear you guys. And then he didn't know what was going on. So bring up your charts, Brent, if you can in the background here. I'll just keep rambling on for a minute while you get your charts here. But last night we had multiple stocks dipping hard, and we had a lot of storied stocks dipping hard. Robinhood was one. It came out with some metrics. It falls $4 in the after hours session. Well, you know what's going to happen. They can't help themselves in a stock like Robinhood. They love Robinhood right now. They bought it right back up. Blindly buy the dip. Win one. We had this stock, RZLV, Resolve AI. We have not talked about this one, but this is kind of like a memester stock too, and it's been blasting off. I'm going to have to, we got to show the charts on this one. So I'm going to bring you up
here. Here, RZLV.
Yeah, bring up this RZLV thing.
AI, okay.
Yeah, so last night, if you can show, do you have pre-market charts on this?
Maybe not. Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Okay, hang on. Hang on a second. We're going to get you guys solved out here. We're trying to fix this on the fly here. So we apologize for the technical difficulties, but they do happen. So, okay, I'm going to show my charts here right now. Coming in, share screen, window, charts. Here you go. Throw that up there, Brentster. Can you see them? We're going to throw up Denny's charts. This is from Interactive Brokers, RZLV. So if you look here, RZLV, you can see the big move here. I'm actually trying to go find that chart now so I can show you. So yeah, so right here, last night, this stock just starts tanking. So it closed, been running for days and days. Closed at 679. Starts going down. 6, 575, 550, 525, 5, 475, $4.50, giving back basically 2/3 of its entire run from the last 3 days. What's the news? It's flying. It's getting killed. There was no news. Some people thought it was going to get an offering, and there was rumors of an offering on social media, but nothing came out. And then they just buy it back. Blindly buying the dip on this stock, 450 to 642 this morning. These are huge moves. Open. We know our buddy Eric Jackson over there has been pretty happy lately with the open moves. But I mean, it was the same thing last night. You won't see it as much on this chart, but if we go out to, let's go 15 minutes and try to see that. Is that going to do it for us to see the dip? No. Let's go. I don't know how we do the time period. Anyways, you can see it a little bit last night. Is this dip down here right here? So it went from 1070 last night down to 920 last night. Now it's all the way back up here too. Blindly buying the dip. Works again. Robinhood, we talked about that one already.
Pull up the hood. And so Hood was a little different because they did have some kind of news item. They had their August operating data. Here's the thing though. That usually doesn't move the stock. They did report a decline in month-over-month users to the platform. Does that justify the move lower? I didn't really think it did last night. And the move happened after the press release, like substantially after the press release came out. It's not like the press release came out and the stock started selling. The press release came out, there was like a few minute delay, and then the stock started selling. So it's just interesting what the algos are doing here, how they're reacting to stuff, how they're reacting to press releases and SEC filings. And then humans come in, digest the information, and what do you know? The stocks are getting bought up on the dips.
I think that's exactly it. I think it's algos that are like still programmed for normalized markets, and they hit first, ask questions later. But the human being is just so underinvested and so hungry for any dips on any of these storied stocks that they start to come in, and then the algos are like, whoa, we better go the other way. So I think a lot of it starts with algorithmic selling, and then all of a sudden it gets some human buying that maybe stops the algorithmic selling, and then the algorithmic selling turns to algorithmic buying. And that's why you see these relentless moves. And when the algos get behind them, they continue to go. So you have a combination of retail, humans, underinvested institutional money managers. There's so many different types of participants buying the dip as well. Hell, I'm buying the dip a lot of times, and I do it for trading because it's just working. And then two is, just because same thing. I mean, I don't want to get left in the dust here. I can see where interest rates are going. Interest rates are going lower. So if interest rates are going lower, that's pretty good market environment for stocks. And it's not a good market environment for cash. And if interest rates go lower, if we do get inflation, cash is going to be the worst place to be. So I think we're in this relentless buy the dip mentality until further notice. And I never use charts on IB, so bear with me here. But RH last night, you can clearly see this one here too. So RH, and we could go get the earnings for you there. I don't know if you have them in front of you, Brent, or I don't. But do they even matter? It's more about the reaction to the earnings than the earnings anyways. If you have them, we'll take the numbers, though. If you do
they reported a quarterly miss, 293 versus 320 estimate, 899 million in sales. Expectation was for over 900 million sales. They cut their fiscal year 20 guidance. Their Q3 sales guidance looked pretty darn weak, if I must say so. So, certainly not the greatest report here by RH, but did they buy the dip initially? Yeah, they bought the dip pretty strongly initially.
Yeah, and that's what they it went straight down. We watched this thing report, 230 down to 190 basically in the first candle. And then what do? Well, they have to start buying the dip, and then it goes 195 and 200 and 205 and 210 and 215 and 222, and it gets almost all those losses back right here. Yeah, the next candle gets all the losses back. Then they start to settle out. It's like, hey, there is some bad news here, though. So this stock and that started to leak a little bit away. But again, the news algo overshooting, huge. You can see the volume, over 400,000 shares trading on this candle here alone. And, we sold off, and that's the bottom. So again, the news algos overshoot. But I mean, the news algo that's doing the selling is definitely not reading the tape or reading this market right now, because there is buy the dip mentality everywhere, even on bad news. And this was definitely bad news. That's kind of where we're at.
I want to just ask you something too. You've been saying, we talked about this last night on SCN. You've been saying for like 3 months now that money managers are still underinvested and are grabbing anything to just buy stocks. I just need exposure to stocks. I'm underinvested. I just need anything. You've been saying that for 3 months, maybe more.
Yeah,
it's the case still.
I think it's accelerating. Because now money managers are like, oh, crap, we have the everything rally going. What do I mean by the everything rally? Well, the IWM, there's 2,000 stocks over here that all of a sudden we're starting to look at all-time highs. So we can go further out on the IWM. Let's go out to our daily candles, and you can see what I'm talking about. Obviously, the April lows when they sold everything. But I mean, this recent, and maybe we could go out, I don't know, let's try hourly. That's gives you a little bit of a feel here for the month. But I mean, it's been a straight up month. We're in 230. We're just climbing. And if we go out to the weeklies or the monthlies, you can see what I'm talking about. IWM has been in a bear market here, basically, or at least, never recovered the full bear market from the 2021. We've never hit back to all-time highs when we got up to, and I can't see what this chart is. And again, I don't use these charts, so bear with me. 242. So anyway, so we're coming back up to that area here. Finally, after this long, I mean, giving it perspective, QQQs have been long gone from, this area here. They were here and they were here. So IWM hasn't participated at all, like zero participation. 2,000 companies not participating at all. Well, now they're starting to show some life, and we've talked about this emerging markets, so it's not just, markets in the US that are picking up steam here. The emerging markets have been, ridiculously relentless. We can see it's been bad. But I mean, when you look lately, this has been a fantastic place to be. $38 back in April, we're up to 52 on EEM here now. So, I mean, money is this isn't just a US thing that, oh my gosh, we're underinvested. This is a world thing, folks. China, we've been talking about here too, and it's really picked it up as well. So, I mean, it's international money going up here now too. FXI, hitting multi-year lows here too. Joel's coming back here now, but I mean, these are big moves.
Short Microsoft.
Well, did they do an update for you right as the show started?
It
what did they do?
They tried to jam an update down my throat.
right at the open.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like what? You know what it is, and I've been mad at Microsoft for this for years. It's like they only were offering me updates from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's what they would do. What the hell is a default 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. update? Do it the opposite. 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. when everybody is sleeping. That is the stupidest time ever. That's what it defaulted to. So, and I figured it out, and you probably didn't default your thing, but I figured it out to default it to when I'm sleeping. It's like, would you like to do an update? It's 9 a.m. and the stock market's opening. Would you like to do an update? No, Microsoft, I would not like to do an update. The whole financial world would not like to do an update at 9 a.m.
I mean, it was like I didn't know what to do. It locked me up. It locked everything.
That's what it
up.
does.
No, you're getting an update. We're shoving this update down.
But I just had one.
They want another one. They want to give you one every day. Oh, hey, look, we got a new little widget. Let's do a whole update. We'll just restart your computer and give it to you there. I'm going to put your charts back on the screen here now, Joel.
Okay.
I know your charts are, and again, I was
We're
there.
Still working on the
you
chart.
got me wound up at least. The one thing you did was wind me up. I'm wound up like now. It's 8:10 in the morning. I'm wound up already. I'm straight out of Windsor here, baby. I'm ready to go.
Let's go.
Right, let's go. Let's go. I'm behind.
So we covered all these Momo stocks. I want to just go back to covering a couple other names here because this has been the Momo market. And I mean, what do I mean by that? The stocks start going in one direction and they seemingly can't stop. You did mention Microsoft. We may as well cover it because last night, I know we covered Open Door when you were off. Microsoft last night, they came out with some news, and Brent, you can give us the headline here right now if you're still going to stick around here for a couple minutes here.
Sure. The headline that we saw last night, I didn't catch up a ton this morning, but the headline that we saw last night was that the company Microsoft is going to be revising its partnership with OpenAI. Is that the one you were thinking, Dennis?
Yes.
From
and
last
this
night?
stock started going up too. And once the news algos start getting on there, they get all antsy in their pantsy and they can't help themselves. It goes 501, 502, 503, 504, 505, 506, 507, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 514. Microsoft just runs 13 points in like 13 seconds. Maybe it's a little longer. That was probably a minute and a half.
You forgot 514.75.
514.75.
That was
this is Microsoft, one of the biggest companies in the world. It's a headline we kind of already knew about, Brent. It was just like some color to it, like the details. But they're like, algos are too stupid. They're like, oh my gosh, Microsoft's doing something with OpenAI.
Woo,
I've never heard that before. No, nobody's ever heard of that. Microsoft and OpenAI, they went no business with each other whatsoever. We say that jokingly because everybody in the whole world knows Microsoft and OpenAI have done business together. So I'm to the beginning of it. So anyways, we get more color, stock reps. Well, again, news algos, overshoot. So, Qs are ripping. This is doing 5 to 6 when actual futures were closed. They're ripping higher. SPY is ripping higher during that time. You won't see it on the futures because the futures are closed between 5 and 6. By the time the futures reopened, Microsoft already started leaking. And then they reopened, and Microsoft actually gave back a majority of the gains.
You know what? Another reason too why I don't know why you'd be buying the stock. I mean, it's just it hasn't participated the last few days. It hasn't, considering what the market's done. The kind of the rotation. We got to come on. Well, Microsoft is AI, but we already bought it. Had its all-time high. We got to pull some money out of Microsoft and putting it something else. I'll just give a little bit longer term perspective. We're trading at 508.05. What we need to do is we need to retake that 50-day moving average at 510. We could easily see it in today's session, but not only retake it, but establish a bid at the 510 area. But so far, that earnings report was the all-time high, and it has not. I mean, maybe it has a base now to recover, but Microsoft has not been participating in the recent rally.
And now all of a sudden gets some life. And that is a good point. We have seen definitely pockets of momentum. So the recent rally, and we're seeing all-time highs in the S&P, I think everything is just doing great. Nope. Everything's going up. It hasn't been that. It's starting to turn to that the last couple of days. We've seen more of an everything rally. But there is definitely separation within the Mag 7 itself. I mean, Tesla having itself day yesterday. The storied stock, the retail darling, the cult stock, if you want to call it, having itself a gate day. It's been impervious to bad news. We've been talking about that. The imperviousness. Still long Tesla in my long-term portfolio. And, 350 to 370 was a huge move here at 368, and it continues to tack on yesterday. So, I mean, that's, a pocket of strength here, at least yesterday moving. And then, obviously, we've had huge moves here in Oracle, which has driven a lot of the cloud names lately. The last couple of days, NVIDIA is showing life again back up near the highs. But then you've got pockets of weakness still happening here too. So it's mixed signals at best because, you got Apple rolling over. The event was a disaster. That probably is deserved. But you also have Amazon showing a little bit of weakness yesterday. You got Netflix rolling over. That's probably on this Paramount deal here, which we can get to in a second and tell you the details on that. But it's not an everything rally, folks. It's like the strong get stronger, the weak get weaker. When the momentum starts getting going, we're not talking about, little algorithmic moves on news. What we're talking about is when you get sustained momentum, like a la, OPEN. Sustained momentum all day yesterday. And we know why. They got the new management. Eric Jackson got exactly what he wanted. And the stock just, started going up. And every time you get a 30, 40 cent dip, it gets bought. Last night, you got $1.50 dip, gets bought. So, I mean, this is just, relentless buy the dip mentality on some of these, momentum names. So the momentum is funny. The algos can, give you a little shot of momentum for a minute or two on a headline, but it may not ignite. It may not continue to take off. But you get these stocks that have been trending up for now. OPM's been trending up the entire month of August. So it was over a month here now. Now we're September 12th. So we're talking about a full 30 days of this trending higher. We know why. You've got endless promotion of the stock on social media by a bazillion open fans. So that's, just spread. And that's spread all the way to Rob Schneider, who's a comedian with 2 million followers, saying he bought the stock. Yeah. So, I mean, it's that movement there is unbelievable.
I just want to make one quick comment on Oracle and just from the price action yesterday. And I'm not necessarily talking about shorting the stock, right? Because that's a very dangerous thing. And you were talking about buying the dips yesterday. But one thing, when a stock makes a move like it does, one thing I really keep an eye, I mean, that was the highest low that it ever made in the stock. And when it has that kind of move, I like to keep an eye on the highest low. And then also that was the all-time highest close, right? And the high close in this, let me pull up the data window here just to see. You had a close at 28.33, 328. You spent a little time over that yesterday. You went to 331. So, hey, it's a good number. It's a soft number. It's not the world's greatest number. It's not as great as the all-time high, but that low was good. And it breached it early in the morning and it bounced, but it breached it by $1.50. So it just kind of shows, when I look at that level, maybe not trying to short off that level, but if you're trying, after those kind of gargantuan moves, if you're looking a way to protect some profits, I mean, look at that low. That was a big low. To me, that was the highest low. That gets in the gap. Will it ever fill the gap? I don't know. But now that 312 to me, that comes, minor resistance, 2-star resistance, an old low, form of support being new resistance.
Talking about momentum and this relentless bids on certain stocks, Jay Rice bringing up a good one here. The trade desk. I mean, this is just the opposite story here, where there are stocks that just have momentum to the downside as well, and the momentum is relentless. And here you got a stock that was added to the S&P basically at the highs. I'm so mad about that because I own, obviously, you get SPY in the long-term account. They buy these stocks at nosebleed levels, and then, it obviously sold off substantially on the earnings. 90 down to 54. And this is what we were talking about. When they're lowering guidance, it's usually not a great buy the dip opportunity. So this one the dip has not been bought in this. So it's not every stock. It's certain stocks. But now you're just continuing to go down, it seems like every day. Gets another bad headline the other day, I think was a downgrade. And now it's continuing, and it seems like it just cannot get a bounce at all. So, I mean, the momentum is not only to the upside, it's to the downside on some stocks too. So identifying that, like contrarian trading in this environment is pretty tough right now. So we go pockets where contrarians are winning, momentum traders are winning. Contrarians. There's 2 core strategies in the market. Contrarian strategies, like 2 categories. Contrarian strategies and momentum strategies. Contrarians, obviously, a buy the dip is a contrarian strategy, but it's a contrarian strategy you do it on momentum stocks, so you can combine them too. Where you got a stock going straight up, well, we'll do the contrarian strategy, buying the dip on the momentum stock. So I mean, so they do cross each other too. But overall, if you're just saying, I'm buying every stock that's sitting down near 52-week lows, that has been not the trade to make. It has been an okay couple of weeks for you as interest rates are starting to bring up some of these other names back. But that's been a tough strategy. So you can't, we calling it blindly buying the dip, but you got to blindly buy the dip on the loved stocks.
I like this. I see the fade desk and don't trade the desk. Back to back from George Carlin. That's what he has is his eyes. I don't know if that's really George Carlin, but that's
for sure.
That's pretty
it's
funny.
It's the real George Carlin.
Is he alive?
I don't know. Apparently, he's in our chat room.
He's not, unfortunately.
Oh,
nope.
Okay.
You know the 7 words you can't. You know the 7 words you can't say on YouTube.
What?
I can't
we can't say any of them because
you never heard that. You never heard that routine. The 7 words you can't say on television.
So. We'll watch it. We'll watch it together in STN room.
Yeah, we've been watching an STN room.
One's a just to give,
YouTube
just to give you a hint.
Oh gosh.
One's a compound. Do you guys know what a compound?
Are you talking chemistry?
No, Brent. You know what a compound is.
Like a complex?
A compound word. Isn't that where you have a word, a dash, another word?
I failed language almost. I suck at language.
Maybe I should have
correct my language all the time.
Okay, go. Show. Move us on. On.
I'm a trader. Jack of no trades, master of one. That's me trading. That's it.
I think, Dennis, that there is definitely a correlation here to what you've been saying and the move and quote news in SMCI. Not sure if you're there to ready to move there yet.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, so I mean, we were sitting there in STN last night. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. And Supermicro drops a press release right at 4:05. The press release says Supermicro begins volume shipments of NVIDIA Blackwell Ultra systems and another product for their data center scale solutions. I look at the press release. I'm looking around for the new stuff. I'm like, well, we knew that they were going to be shipping these NVIDIA Blackwell things. This press release, as far as I can tell, is just the formal, yes, we begun shipping. We knew about this already. As far as I know, stuff we already knew, but the stock rallied right away a good $3 and has kind of added on a whole nother 50 cents or so here this morning.
Because they know how the algos work. Human beings remember this stuff, but the algos don't. They just see, oh my gosh, that's a good headline. Honestly, there's a lot of algorithms
NVIDIA in the headline.
Simplistic. There is some complex algorithms that probably are out there and can remember and do stuff. And maybe AI one day comes into our markets and replaces all the human beings. But right now, we can see a stock rally on a headline, and then 3 days go by, and then a similar headline comes out and the stock rallies again. Why? Why does it do that? You know why? Because algorithms don't remember. They're just looking at the headline again, and they're saying, oh, that's a positive. There is a lot of very simplistic algorithms that are just simply reading keywords. and buying it. So don't think that, oh, these algos are so smart. It's the opposite. The algos are so dumb. This is like why you as a human being are trading in such a good environment for yourself, because everybody's trying to do algorithmic trading, and you have all these people writing code and implementing into the markets that don't know what the hell they're doing. Like we move sometimes after hours and like, what just happened there? Well, somebody probably just screwed up on an algorithm and just sold the stock off like 10% for no reason whatsoever.
We see that all the time after hours.
All the time.
Like once a day, maybe twice a day.
It could have been RZLV last night to a certain extent. The stock, like I'm going back to that, and people are like, well, why do you care about a $4 stock? Well, it's a stock that run 3 days from 450 to 7, and then gives it all back last night in freaking 10 minutes, and then rallies it all the way back again.
Fill the gap.
Mean, there is just irrational exuberance within the algos themselves, and they just don't know. They're dumb, man. They're dumb. Most of them are dumb. If you put all the algos in a room together, there's probably, 1 or 2 that are like pretty smart, and there's probably like 98 of them that are stupid. For real. Get them in a room, question them. It's a joke.
These things. So here's the thing, though. These algos are not being shut down. And we were talking a little bit about this last night, Dennis. These algos are not being shut down. We see them making stupid moves. If we didn't see them continuing to make stupid moves, it means they've been shut down by the people that programmed them. But we don't see that. They're still making stupid moves. So think about this. For all the stupid moves that it seems like we're seeing, if the algos are still running, they must be making good calls, or else they would be shut down. So that's kind of the other side of this.
You want to know where the news algorithm makes the money? And Jeff Goldman could come into this conversation too. He knows a lot about algorithmic stuff too, but we'll hold off for Jeff for a second. But they make the money on something like WBD. Here's your segue. Because you've got a headline that even the dumbest algo in the room can read. Oh, there's interest about being bought. So they get that one and they clean up on that one. So they kill it on that one. On arbitrage and stuff that is literally black and white, the algos kill it. They kill it. Black and white, they read it so cleanly, and they can read it faster than everybody, and they clean up. If it's got a little bit of gray to it, that's where they're all screwed up. They can't figure it out. That's where they make mistakes. They won't make mistakes on black and white. WBD was a black and white headline yesterday, and if you have it, Brentster, you can read it to us now, but everybody's following the story here now. Warner Brothers Discovery looking like they may get a bid. Who broke this yesterday, by the way? Do you know?
I believe it was WSJ. Let me go try to confirm, though. I believe it was WSJ.
Yeah, so middle of the day, stock obviously blasts off. Warner Brothers, Paramount, Skydance preparing a takeover bid. I was trying to see who broke that story.
WSJ. Yes, WSJ. Yep.
So that's the news, and it pops, and Paramount, Skydance is preparing a takeover bid. That's a black and white headline. You see that, the stock is going higher. So that's where, the algos pick up all the money that they lost on all this other stuff. Now, again, I think there's a lot of algos that are just experimenting out there too. So I don't think we can think every firm is killing with algorithmic trading. We know Citadel's killing with algorithmic trading. We know Virtu Financial's killing with algorithmic trading. But I don't know if we know every firm is killing it. I think there's a lot of firms experimenting with it. And those experiments are sometimes like seen in the markets as, opportunities for human traders. Is Jeff there? Can we bring Jeff into the conversation here ahead of time?
Yeah, we certainly can.
We're going to go off script here a little bit. And Jeff's a crypto, so we're gonna just bring Jeff, bring our guest intro, and we'll obviously do the Hive blockchain thing after the guest.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
Bring Jeff into this conversation.
All right, here we go.
Oh wow, that's the craziest introduction ever. I love it.
Well, I'm looking at you in the background. Like know a little bit about algorithmic trading too. Jeff Goldman is a proprietary trader, run JC Trading. You've been around the markets for basically your entire life. Your market experience is exceptional. We're bringing you on as a crypto expert. That segment's going to start in 5 minutes. We're bringing you on the pre-crypto because you have, obviously experience seeing traders run with algorithms here too. And, I just want to get your thoughts here because I've done a lot of algorithmic trading in my past. Like, it's not as easy as everybody thinks. Like, it's easy on a WBD, where something's going up. But there's so many other algos that are doing different types of strategies. That grayness to it, it's complex to write code for that.
It's the same. It's garbage in, garbage out, right? You have to, like you said, it's all the coding. So if you know how to code it and you can trade it and it works, that's great. But it's a lot harder than it looks. Absolutely. And there's very simple algo trading. Now there's services out there where you can actually piece together different algos. You can go in and say, okay, I'm more on technical trading, not as much as reading headlines. That's way beyond what I think the typical person can do. But there's a lot of great algos out there, a lot of great platforms for the typical person to go and experiment with it. But at the end of the day, it's a human building the algo, and the algo has to make sense and has to be able to interpret the data that you're feeding into it, making a decision, executing properly.
I mean, people think algorithmic trading just started in the last couple of years. People really think that.
No.
You think about,
no.
We've had algorithmic trading in this market for decades.
We were, you can even take it back to, we were trading where we were actually doing trades based on Excel spreadsheets.
Yep.
I mean, that was an early algo. That was something that we would have it would read data from an Excel spreadsheet and send out a signal. And then next thing you know is, oh, wow, we can actually auto trade this. And that was the beginnings of algo trading. But yeah, even all the way back to trading off of auto trading Excel spreadsheets, that's an algo.
When you were at JC trading, obviously running that prop firm for a very long time, did you have traders doing algorithmic,
yes.
running algorithms? Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
And you're going back 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, we had, and sometimes, think about the algo trading took down Knight Securities. That was an algo that went haywire, berserk. And it went berserk. And I know a lot of traders that made a ton of money off of that. But yes, we had guys doing like layering, which later became banned, but that's an algo trading. But absolutely a lot, even some of the early TradeStation was an early algo platform that allowed for algo trading.
So where do you think we've come? Have we come and we're much more sophisticated with algorithmic trading here now? And the second question to that is, there's a lot of people who are on social media saying, look, human beings in the markets to be able to make money are on very borrowed time here. Eventually AI is coming to this market and there's going to be no place for human beings whatsoever. I mean, the floor has happened. I had the trading floor. That did happen. Yeah. Obviously, we had the trading floor, and market makers like Citadel and Virtue have come in and taken over the market making game, and the floor basically ceases to exist. Can that happen to the human trader sitting at Robinhood? Can they be displaced by AI in the future? Or is it, always going to be holes for humans to find?
No, I think as a trader, you can use those AI tools to actually help you. I think where the algos are really going to accelerate is that really, really quick trading, the in and out. But by the time me and you even think about the trade, the algo's already done it 7 times. Okay.
Yeah.
So on a very short-term basis, you're not going to be able to compete. But if you expand, I've been saying this for years, as a trader, you have to expand your time frame a little bit. Whether you're a day trader, you're not going to be scalping. I guess that's the best way to say it. It's very hard to scalp now as a day trader, in and out. You have to expand that time frame. Whether it's, if you're a day trader, 5 minutes, all of a sudden 5 minutes is long term, but to an hour all day. If you're a swing trader, you might not, the algos might not really affect the swing trader. That's probably not going to change much, because you can participate in that. You can use those AI tools. On a fundamental basis, we can be stock analysts now. Now, I don't do much fundamental analysis, but you can be as good as any guy or girl on Wall Street now with AI. So you can use it to your advantage as opposed to feeling like you're competing with it.
Okay, I'm going to move this over to the conversation we were supposed to bring you on for. It's our Hive blockchain crypto segment, and Jeff Goldman is a crypto trader and crypto expert here. And I want to jump in. And Brentster, I don't know if you can run the charts because Joel's still having technical difficulty, so Joel's going to be off here now. If you want to go see if you can run charts in the background, that would be good.
Let me see what I can find. Give me a sec.
Yeah, Brentster's going to go to the background and grab some charts, but we'll have a discussion. We don't need charts, me and Jeff. We can just talk,
we don't need charts.
in
we
general.
know what the charts look like.
We know what they look like, exactly. So let's start with Bitcoin because, you've been obviously following Bitcoin for a very long time. Are you still a hodler? Or you still have your long-term investments in Bitcoin and then trading it at the same time?
Yes. So I have a core position. I wish I had the core position I had way back when.
Yeah.
I wish I did. I always joked that if 10 years ago I had some kind of crazy accident, I was in a coma, but I was okay and I just woke up now, I'd be a very, very wealthy person.
Stop getting the trader in us. We gotta stop selling this stuff. Just buy and hold Warren Buffett.
I'm traditionally a terrible investor, but I think I'm a good trader. But yes, I still have some very long-term Bitcoin. And traditionally I've sort of traded around a core position, but I haven't sold any Bitcoin since about 75,000. I've pretty much been a holder of it. And yeah, I think long term, I think Bitcoin's still going to just go. I think it's going to just keep going up and up and up.
Well, I mean, talk about interest rates, going lower. And if interest rates are going lower, it could lead to, a little bit more inflation. Also, your cash component that obviously Bitcoin, you hold that doesn't have a yield. So when you have, treasuries get 5%, that's competing with Bitcoin to a certain extent. But as those yields come down, which, if interest rates go lower, you got to think longer term yields are probably going to come lower here as well, which they're doing currently with the TLT. That's probably good for Bitcoin, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, look, that analysis right there is way more than I analyze.
You don't need to go that deep.
I don't. I look at price action. Obviously, fundamental events, economic events will determine the price action, which will determine the technical and what the charts look like. I look at Bitcoin as a store of value. It's the new gold. I know it's not a new story. It's old. Everybody knows it, but I think we're going to look back in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, and we're either going to be laughing at ourselves that's saying, I can't believe that we thought that this computer blip was worth $2 trillion, or we're going to look back and say, I can't believe at one point it was only worth $2 trillion. So it's still new. Bitcoin is still new. We only have I think only 15% of the US, now I know it's a worldwide thing, but only 15% of Americans own Bitcoin compared to 65% own stock. So it's still new. And we're getting institutional adoption big time. And I'm sure you know the institutions are always ahead of the public. And everybody's heard of Bitcoin, obviously, but they don't own Bitcoin. So I think and there's only so many Bitcoin to go on. It's an old story. I'm not making, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. There's only so many Bitcoin. And if that demand really starts to accelerate, which it already has, I think the sky's the limit.
Let's move to Ethereum here, because obviously if you haven't heard of Bitcoin, you probably never have heard of Ethereum.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
I mean, and a lot of people, if there's only 15% of the US invested in Bitcoin, there's probably very few people who are invested in Ethereum.
Yeah, it's probably closer to 10, because if you own Bitcoin, then you pretty much, about crypto,
right.
And you probably own some Ethereum. So yeah, I think it's only 10%. Same story there. But I was 100% Bitcoin up until about 4 or 5 months ago, and I reallocated some. I used to be 100%. Now I'm 75-25, although the numbers are off a little bit just because Ethereum's outperformed Bitcoin. But I love Ethereum. It's got a huge ecosystem. It actually has a utility. So I love the different projects out there that actually have a utility. It's deflationary. They now have where they're burning some Ethereum as usage goes up, and there's a lot of decentralized finance, decentralized apps, NFTs. They all run off of Ethereum. So Ethereum actually in a use case is so much more than Bitcoin, where Bitcoin doesn't Bitcoin really doesn't do a lot except sit there and has a store of value, where Ethereum actually has a real use. A lot of people are using it. That I think it's going to accelerate. I think it's going to outpace. I don't think it's going to overtake Bitcoin, but I think in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, it's going to outpace return-wise in Bitcoin.
So there's a possibility that Ethereum could, in the longer run, if it's got those use cases and everything, maybe just be the new Bitcoin. And I mean that
it could.
So to that, let's just take that conversation further, because I mean, there's always somebody creating something new, especially in the crypto world. And we've seen different types of Bitcoin. We see Bitcoin, and then we saw, I can't remember, Bitcoin Cash. I'd go
Bitcoin Gold,
Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin this, and there's like, I feel like there's like 100,000 of these different, SH blank coins, for lack of a better word. We try not to cuss on the show because the YouTube algorithm punishes us for that.
Yes, okay.
But I mean,
we'll
this is not going away, this creation of new different crypto coins. Are most of these things just scams? Is there the possibility that there's one of these hidden gems in there that's going to be the next Bitcoin here? What are your thoughts, Jeff, of getting outside the Bitcoin and Ethereum?
Yes. So I don't know is the answer, but I'll tell you what the characteristics are. They have to have a utility. They have to have a community, and they have to be, for the most part, decentralized. So if you can find a project like Hive's a perfect example. They have a great community. They actually have a use. People are actually using it, and it's decentralized. So that's the type of project that I think can live. These other ones, and I use the perfect example. This is when I still shake Fartcoin. Can I say Fartcoin?
Yeah, farts are okay.
It's that Fartcoin has $1 billion valuation.
Fartcoin is with $1 billion.
It's $1 billion valuation. That's the market cap of Fartcoin. And you look at things like that, and you can't take it seriously. You can't take everything else seriously when that is the case. It does nothing. It's a meme. That the Trump coin, no, it doesn't matter where you stand politically. It doesn't do anything. It's just someone comes up with something and puts their name on it. We're going to look back on that and totally think that we were, it was the whole tulip moment for us.
You don't think Fartcoin can go to a $10 billion or $100 billion valuation? I guess they can do anything, but
it's the greater fool theory. So who knows? I'm not going to be that fool.
Who is making this money? Like on Fartcoin, like somebody just makes this coin probably for fun, out of laughs and poops and giggles, so we don't swear.
Yeah, the person the person that comes out with it. That's why I'm sure you're familiar with rug pulls, where someone comes out, hypes something up, sells it all to everybody else, and then they do some fake trading. They actually run the price up themselves. Yep, they run it up, they hype it up, everybody buys into it, and then they just leave. So there's nobody else making a market. There's nobody else on that buy side to actually, and then it's called a rug pull. So it's very, very common in crypto. But yeah, it's that first person that's making that money, or community. If it's a decentralized one, it's more of a community making it. But somebody has to start it. Somebody's making that initial money.
So somebody got rich on Fartcoin. Somebody out there.
Yep.
Is there
do
any
a pre-market prop coin?
Let's go back. So you did Bitcoin, Ethereum. We did all the poop coins because we don't want to say the SH word. Is there any other coins that you think are legit, like something else you would invest in? Because you say you're like 75, 25 Bitcoin, Ethereum. Is there something else you would allocate?
Yeah, there's a ton that are legit. Solano is SOL. That's very legit. That's also one that has a very big following, a very big community. That one, but outside of, and there's a ton. So I'm sure people are going to be, what about this one? What about that one? There's a ton out there. Whether they survive or not, and for me, it's about the blue chips. So it's just like buying a blue chip stock as opposed to a over-the-counter stock. So for me, for the long term, the blue chips are going to be there. Everybody likes XRP, Ripple. I'm not a big fan of that one. There's a ton of supply out there. I think every week they actually release, or month, 1 billion new Ripple onto the market. It's a centralized market, so there's a group of people that control how and the supply of it, and it has limited real world application right now. Everybody says it's going to be the new wave, but the banks are going to move money around. Like, there's no way JP Morgan, Citibank, Goldman Sachs are going to let this this crypto come over and start taking away their bread and butter. It's just not going to happen. And there's just a huge, huge supply that's really going to limit the price. So I'm very bearish on Ripple, although people love it because it was, for the longest time, it was 50 cents, and people still equate something cheap that will go higher than something expensive that will move up. But yeah, I'm pretty bearish. Those are the top three, and so XRP, not a huge fan of.
That's a good conversation in itself and a good segue. Can crypto, whether it be Bitcoin or Ethereum or some other crypto, eventually replace the financial markets, like a financial industry, where we obviously, have banks for a reason.
Yeah,
a lot of people think
I think it can, in the sense that it would be a stable coin that would do that. And it's going to be something that's got the backing of, like I said, Citibank, MasterCard, Visa, Goldman Sachs. They are not going to let someone else come and take their market from them. There's just no way they're going to do it. So yeah, will it be a real crypto? Not in the sense that it's a crypto that's trading now. Will it be a blockchain type asset that the banks control? Yeah, that's what's going to probably happen.
Just one last question. Projections for Bitcoin. Like, where do you think it's going? You're hodling here. We've got, Kathy Wood saying $2 million a coin. We've got Tommy Lee, saying similar projections here. I know you're not a big projection type of guy, but I want to throw you under the bus anyways. Give us some projections on pricing points for where you think Bitcoin's going.
I'll go 5 years out. How about I go 2030? 2030, okay. I think Bitcoin could be at 500,000.
Okay.
It's not
That's
crazy.
Reasonable.
That's reasonable. It's really, I haven't done the math on that. Maybe it's a 20% annualized. Maybe it's a 30. I don't know what the math is on that, but it's reasonable. It's a double and a double. Pretty much the same thing. Ethereum, I think in 5 years could be at 20,000 easily, maybe even higher. Like I said, I think it may outpace Bitcoin. I'm not willing to change my allocation dramatically or drastically to do that, but I think it can. And so those are the two. I'm not going to do a bearish case for XRP, but Bitcoin easily 500,000, Ethereum easy 20,000 in 5 years. And I can't even comprehend someone saying it's going to be at 2 million in whatever. I can't even. I don't know what I'm doing this. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. I can't figure something out.
All right. Well, Jeff, we know what you're going to be doing here. We love having your analysis here. We'll have you back soon, obviously, to analyze Bitcoin, crypto. Give us your thoughts here. It's great to talk a little bit of your history there, and obviously markets with you too. So really appreciate everything you've done. We've known you for a long time, Jeff Goldman, great market veteran here from the floor. Joel's known, been friends with him for a long time. So we appreciate you coming on. Sounds good. All right, guys. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, later, Jeff.
Appreciate it.
I cut Jeff off just a little bit. Sorry, Jeff.
That's good.
That segment, folks, was brought to you by Hive Digital Technologies, a global leader in green-powered data centers for Bitcoin mining, high-performance computing, and AI. Operating with nearly 0.5 gigawatt of renewable energy, Hive is on track to capture 3% of the world's Bitcoin production by the end of this year. In the bottom right corner on screen right now is a little QR code. You can scan that, or you can visit the description in the link of this YouTube video to learn more about Hive. Thanks again, Hive, for being our sponsor for this segment and for the show.
Great stuff. That's so again,
stuff.
we got a 15-minute segment once a week on crypto here because we have a lot of people have been requesting that for a long time. And Hive was good enough to say, hey, we'll sponsor that for you here. So we got them and we're helping to keep pre-market prep free for you guys. So go give them some love. Give them some love. The stock's been getting a lot of love lately. So anyways, let's show some charts.
Yep, I'm bringing up my charts right here. Triple D, give me just 1 second. Where'd my chart go? Oh my gosh.
I know I'm not as good at this. Joel's actually a lot better, like navigating the charts here. We yell at him sometimes like, Joel, this, that, but he does so much. Like when you try to work the charts, it's tied to keep your train of thought, and then you're working charts and you're doing all that. Not that easy of a thing to do. So, like a lot of people like CNBC, they got producers in the background doing all this stuff. Here now we're live trying to keep our trains of thought and change the charts and do everything all at once here. So
it's not easy. And you know what? StreamYard
if you
just
can't
bugged
get it,
on
I'll bring
me.
mine.
I gotta just
Let me bring
refresh.
mine.
Okay.
I'm going to bring my charts up. We're going to go back to the IB charts here. We're trying to find them. Here we go. Okay, you got these charts here. So let's do a little bit of ticker time. You guys want ticker time? We can do that. I will take some tickers from you. And if you don't give me any tickers, I'm going to put up my own tickers. So if you don't want to hear about Procter & Gamble or Coca-Cola, you better give me some tickers pretty fast here. We did have RH. We touched on RH earnings. Let's touch on Adobe earnings before we get the tickers for ticker time here. Because obviously Adobe's been trending down. You can see that. But if you go into, the action from last night, the news algo once again pisses money away. Oh, I should say that. That probably.
You're fine. I think that's
one. Stock pops initially, and the expected move I think was like 33 points or 34 points.
Yeah, $32. Yeah,
$32. And they came out with the earnings, and the earnings were good. But we warned about this in the STN room. I know Mike had a good fade off, and I was like, Adobe is like one of those stocks. We set it up for you actually over in Stock Trade Network. We're like, this stock will go down if it misses, and if it beats, it'll go up and then probably go down, because that is what the stock does. It is absolutely hated. We had some stats coming from somebody in the STN room saying it's been down the last 5 reports that it's had, no matter what it's reported. The stock is just hated. It's one in the hated. Like you can put them in categories: loved, hated, Palantir, loved, Adobe, hated. And we saw the pop initially, like, oh, here it is, comeback story. Well, it's Adobe, and Adobe has a history of fading after good earnings, and that's exactly what happened. Ran on the news algo up to 382, and then leaks it back within minutes. So it's coming all the way back, and now is up only $10, giving back over 20 points of the move from last night. So some of these moves are predictable. We look for patterns not only on the charts, we look for patterns on reactions to data. Yeah. And that's, what quantitative analysis does. That's what we try to do over on Stock Trader Network. That's making us some money.
And you already hinted at it, Dennis, but like this report and the guidance was solid. They had a nice beat on the quarter. Their Q4 guidance was better than expected. They raised their fiscal year guidance. But kind of still interesting here. We're looking at it like only up. What is it up from last night? It's only up $10 or so. I mean, this thing had rallied as much as $30 initially on this.
Correct.
I do have a little list of tickers here for you, Triple D.
Yeah, go.
From the chat. Let's do CoreWeave. CRWV.
CoreWeave got hot off Oracle. So CoreWeave has been ignited from Oracle. Sometimes they start with the daily, and it gives you just a little bit better feel of what it's been doing. So obviously the IPO bubble burst. We saw Circle and Fake Newton and Bullish and all those down. CoreWeave was part of that. We talked about this, and sets us up in the S10 room. I was like, they got this little low at 85. And you kind of just revisited here. And I'm like, there's a potential for a double bottom here. Absolutely, that potential turned into reality. It was ignited, though, with a catalyst. And that catalyst really, got started with, I believe, a rating and then, or some news it had. I can't remember, like right before the Oracle. And then the Oracle news happened, and at CoreWeave popped $20 off Oracle as well. Because similar business, we're talking data infrastructure there. And, you were so good in the STN room giving us all these names as they were flying here. On the fly, CoreWeave, IRE, and then we were playing CORZ off the CoreWeave. And I mean, there's moves to be had here. So where does it go from now? Well, I keep an eye on Oracle, because Oracle's your leader here right now. And Oracle had a pretty tough day yesterday. So CoreWeave kind of went down in sympathy with that, saying Oracle the big move, and then we peeled back a little bit. CoreWeave kind of same thing. If Oracle starts to turn around and show some life, and I think you're going to get some support on Oracle around 300, if we actually do see that and it starts to trend up again, I think that's good for CoreWeave. So as of this moment in time, Oracle and CoreWeave kind of linked together. That linkage could break, but right now they're kind of linked together.
Did the data center infrastructure plays like the Core Weaves and the IRENs, was it where they were moving on Nebius, right? That's what you were
Is that what
thinking
it
of?
was?
I
I
think
think
that's
you're
what it
right.
was.
He was
Yeah,
Nebius.
yeah. At the beginning of
Couldn't
this week.
remember what the headline was right before Oracle, but I
Yeah,
think you're right. It
exactly.
could have been off NBIS.
It was the NBS thing, the NBIS. And somebody wanted you to take a look at Nebius anyway, Dennis. So
Well,
I
let's
gave you a
do it.
little
We'll just
segue.
tie us in. Good segue there.
Cool.
I mean,
Cool.
stock popped. We called this one, when it has, 100 million in revenue last quarter, and all of a sudden gets a $17 billion contract from Microsoft. Stock's probably going to get bought. It was up like 72, 73, and I'm like, I think this is going to go higher. And then it went 75, 76. I was like, I think it could go higher. It went to 82. I was like, honestly, I kept analyzing. I think this could go to 100, and it hit 100. So we were really good with this one in the STN room, and it was one of our best trades as a group probably ever. Stock obviously has come down to the offering price, which obviously pulled back because of that. The offering price was pretty good. I think it was 91.5. Is that where they got it off?
Or 92.5 or 91.5? Maybe 92.5. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is below that right now. I do think you've got some underneath demand here, and I'm not sure. The one thing is, you had the big announcement. We often talk about, selling on news, and we didn't sell on this news, but, after the fact, it's like stocks want something to look forward to. I don't know if there's another catalyst imminent here. So you get a little bit of like pausing. Could this go back and fill the whole gap? I don't think so, because I think the company's on the board now. But I think low 80s is possible here. But I think I'd be a buyer of the dip there. So I do think NBIS, if they get another deal, could be off to the races here too. But this is like a company that didn't have hardly any revenue at all. And this Microsoft deal just put them on the map. So all of a sudden, real revenue, real company.
Boom, boom. What's going on?
Money Mitch.
Money Mitch.
What's up? How we doing?
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second here. I want to go see what Money Mitch is happening.
What's going on, guys? I'm ready to get after it. I'll tell you one thing. If you guys haven't been to the STN room and seen me trade live in there, well, you're missing out, guys. I'll tell you what. I've only had one red day in 5 weeks of action.
You've been killing it in that STN. So, you had a streak going where you had like 8 or 9 winning trades in a row.
Hey, that's all I can do, guys. And I, like always, I show everything like what most people don't, right? Like you can see things like this where you see my positions. What? Green? What?
There you go. Nice, Money Mitch.
Money Mitch doesn't just talk BS in the chat. He actually has these positions. Like I talked already, guys. AMDL, looking for AMD to get hot. Swung. It's been by
what are you
AMD
in right now?
On red.
I got AMD. Right now? You got a couple stocks in there.
AMDL, which is AMD 2
times
leverage.
Levered up AMD.
And then I got ETH that we just talked about.
Ethereum.
And look at that swing. Look at that beautiful chart now. This is why you try to get them while they're based. And now they're based and now starting to head it out to the breakout. So up 2.46% on that position. These are swing positions, right? Nothing crazy right now, but working them up. Not looking too bad. And these are the types of things that you get in the STN room where you'll see me open swings. You'll see me open day trades. You saw that other account ready to go. And like always, guys, you guys can check out Trade the Pool if you guys are looking for ways to keep trading. I do evals on there and I show people how to come after it. And it's a great way, especially for the new trader. If you're a new trader and you're just looking to learn how to trade and see if you can be profitable versus putting up $25,000, $30,000 of your money to get over the PDT rule, well, definitely check out Trade the Pool that I'm with, guys. And it gives me the ability to do swings and day trades, right? So that's what I try to show you guys, and I'll show you guys it live. And hey, come over to the STN room. If you haven't been there before, I mean, at least get the free trial, get over there, check it out. I'm going to be trading there right now and just getting started.
We're going to be adding a lot more content in that room here too. So, stick around. The people who are in the room love it. Obviously, it's me, Monty Mitch over there. We've got
this
the
I got to say for Jay.
We got CC is going to be adding. CC Ligator is going to be coming on and adding more content. And we're talking with a lot of other people here as well, adding more content into that room here. But it's been good, man. It's been good. So
yeah, and even the haters are welcome to join. Even the haters.
And sometimes we turn the haters.
This blind squirrel can be right.
There's been a lot of blind squirrelness there. So it's true, actually. And I mean, when you're in a bull market, everybody feels like a genius. It's these bear markets that really separate
APLD. Hey, did you guys see my calls in the chat yesterday? I said, look at the drone play. Why? DJI drone ban coming up. Talk is starting to kick off again. It's expected to come in December. AVAV is one that I'm looking at. Nice bull flag on that. I'm looking to see if that continues to go. RCAT. You see that RCAT? Boom. Called it yesterday. Look at that move yesterday. What a nice breakout in RCAT.
That was a
nice
huge move.
23% move. And then I said UMAC also above 10, going towards 11. It went right to 1092, so might have been a little bit off on the target, but now we could really get started on this UMAC. Repeatable pattern, looking really nice there. There's some trades out there to be made, guys.
So we're heading out over there, Stock Trader Network. I'll be over there. And obviously me and Brent always do the 3:30 to 5 show as well every night where we're covering the news and breaking trades live here too. So we have different segments all over the place. Money Mitch going to run a little segment here for us this morning. Do a little bit of scalping because he does short-term intraday scalping, which I don't do as much short-term intraday scalping. So we like Money Mitch in there as well. So Joel's still figuring out his computer issues here, but it was a pretty good show because we didn't expect Joel to just be gone after doing the intro, but we made it through it. So again, happy Friday to everyone. Enjoy your weekend. If we don't see you over at Stock Trader Network, for those who are in the Stock Trader Network, we're coming over there right now.